Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to Let's Talk Friday. I am your host, Joiners. And in the studio with me is Mr. Mwalula. Kindly greet the people.
Good evening, our dear followers, and I'm sure we are going to have a great time on Lono TV.
Okay, so tonight we bring you yet another interesting topic, which is distance marriages in the modern world. We're in a world where long distance relationships and long distance marriages are no longer working. We would find that a couple is just getting married. Within a few weeks of getting married, they're already separated because of work and other circumstances life brings in. So keep the comments coming on this topic. We're going to read them out as we go on a short break.
Great news from Lono Studios, a safe place for entertainment, advertisement, broadcasting, and social interaction. You can now advertise your goods and services on Lono TV at a very affordable price. You know publicity makes a good business stand out. You can get yourself a TV advert, radio advert, Lono TV Facebook page post, TV program sponsor shout out. Remember, at a very affordable price. You can also digitalize your business by subscribing to our digital marketing packages so as to advertise your business on social media platforms and websites, e.g. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can subscribe to a bronze package, silver package, or golden package and get yourself that social media business boost. More followers, more customers, more sales. Lono Studios, we are here to show the world what you have while you sit back and do your business. Come show the world the beauty of your products and services.
Welcome back. So looking at the idea of marriage, it all started from the Bible.
Exactly.
And for it to be the most, in fact, it's one of the most important things that God actually gave a human being, which even the vows until death do us part plays a big role. It's not something that we have to step back when we enter into it, but looking at our modern world, things are not okay. Okay, can a distance marriage work in our modern world?
Thank you for that question. It can work, and it does work, because this is what has become common of late.
Yes.
That a lot of people are into distance relationships, they are into distance marriages for a couple of reasons. It does work. You see, what is more important and most paramount when it comes to marriage is commitment. Commitment is key. You can still be living together, but you're not committed to each other. There are people that are still married and living under one roof, but one is lonely. So loneliness does not necessarily mean because that one person is present, but it's how that person impacts your life. So even when there are distance relationships, distance marriages, they do work where there is commitment. If commitment is not there, it becomes a little bit of a challenge. Because what usually brings people together is companionship. People want to live together. They want to have a partner they can share their intimate thoughts with. But sometimes the inevitable happens, especially in this modern world, like you have already mentioned. Some people are in employment. We are coming from a culture where our women folk were mere housewives. But tables have turned. We are living in a dynamic society, and because of that, you discover that things are actually slowly changing.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I think in short, I can say that distance marriages, but they do work. But there are a lot of challenges actually that people are experiencing because of living apart for a long period of time.
Okay, I think that brings us to the next question. What are some of the possible problems that can develop in such kind of relationships, and how can they be overcome?
One of the likely challenges or problems that may occur because the couples are not living together is mistrust. There's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of infidelity. We can't run away from the fact that there is no much bonding, because even those that have been married for a long period of time, they will tell you that marriage is actually a project in the making. Every day is a new experience. So if you live apart for a long period of time, it becomes problematic to bond. It becomes a challenge even to trust each other.
Okay.
Because, sometimes we, as human beings, we have this gift of imagination. We would even imagine things are not there. I called my wife Joynes. She didn't pick. What could she be doing?
Yes.
Yes. And yet, somebody saw you. So last seen 2 minutes ago. Because sometimes the funny part of social media, yes, social media, even when you are not there, it may show 2 minutes last seen. And yet maybe somebody else was playing with the phone, or you were driving, and someone will think otherwise. And it becomes challenging, especially to the new couples.
Yes.
Because as new couples, you need to start, you are learning a lot of things. And sometimes you lack tolerance. Even when it comes to resolving conflicts. You can't, it's very difficult to resolve conflicts if you are in a distance relationship.
Okay.
That's why even if you are not in marriage, you are just dating, or you are in courtship, one of the things that you must avoid so much is to resolve issues on the phone. Because it requires a one-to-one kind of engagement.
Yeah.
But if you pick up the phone, sometimes the other person may not see your emotions.
True.
And may just imagine what the other person might be thinking. So there are a lot of challenges. And these challenges may even lead to divorce. True. They may lead to separation. They may lead even to children not having to enjoy the companionship that goes on between the mother and the father. So there are quite a number of problems, there are quite a number of challenges that has come as a result of living in this modern world where we have so many marriages that are based on a distance kind of arrangement.
Talking about one of the problems, infidelity, I think that has been one of the causes of why most marriages are actually not working, be it distance relationships, or even the people that are living together. How can they overcome the infidelity?
Some of these are personal decisions. They are personal decisions that people make, and it's very difficult to have a solution that is cast in stone. It becomes a little bit of a challenge. So it's about the values, the value system in ourselves. We have different value systems, and these value systems, they are based on where we are coming from.
Yes.
They are based on culture. They are based on socialization. They are based on the people that we interact with.
Yes.
So it's challenging actually to say that the best solution to infidelity is this, but one of the best things that we can ever do is you respect the institution of marriage.
Okay, and talking of mistrust, you mentioned that. How do you overcome the mistrust? How does one communicate? Because there are those people that don't like the communication, and there are those that like being updated about how someone's day was, what they've been up to, what they did, how work was, and everything. What kind of communication are they supposed to have?
No, it's key. Communication in any human relationships is important. You remember on this platform we did discuss the importance of communication in relationships. If you're not communicating well, communication has a lot of parameters.
Yes.
There's non-verbal communication, there's verbal communication. So even when somebody has not uttered any word, they have communicated something. Somebody posted something on social media that even silence. Yes. It means somebody has said something. Has communicated something, because actions speaks louder than words. The way we communicate, even when we are living together, as husband and wife, as boyfriend and girlfriend, that's the same way we should be communicating even on distance relationships. Actually,
Yes.
when it is a distance
Distance.
relationship, it requires more communication.
Yes.
And it requires to have an open mind. When you have a closed mind, you may always be easily become irritable over a very small thing. I know I called you, you didn't speak. But even even if we can be so good at moving with the phone, I don't
Yes.
think there's anyone who has never missed a missed call. Because sometimes we go to bath. Sometimes you are in convenience rooms. We
Yes.
don't usually carry our phones. So communication is key, and we can only communicate effectively if we are able to involve the people that we are involved with, especially those that are close to us,
Yes.
those that we may call our intimate friends. I know we are talking about the issue of marriage,
Yes.
but allow me join is that even those that are in courtship, that are dating, I want to also include them,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that can help them. It's very, very important to update our spouses, to update our fiancés, to update those people that we are dating. It shows concern. When the
Yes.
person that you feel you are in love with, and then they don't communicate, they don't inform you about where their whereabouts, what they're actually doing,
Yes.
that becomes a problem. It becomes a challenge. It becomes a challenge. Why? They will start now. You know, as human beings, naturally, when you have not told me what you are doing, I'll
Assume.
assume. I'll create my own assumptions. I'll create my own perceptions. So it's very, very important. But one of the key things that you can know is that if you truly love someone, you involve them at every stage of whatever you are doing.
True.
But if people that were communicating very well, they stop calling you, they stop texting you, they stop telling you good night, they stop. Just know that that is the beginning of an end to a harmonious relationship. That one, I will not even beat about the bush.
Yes.
Because even in a home, if my wife doesn't know where I am, if I don't know where the whereabouts of my wife,
Yes.
then that is the beginning of a challenge, of a problem. Because whether I like it or not, even if I'm doing something that is right, but I've not communicated, I'm creating a certain perception in someone who thinks that I am accountable
Yes.
to them.
I think that should actually be talked about, because some people will go like, I don't like especially the people that are not yet into marriage, be like, why should I update this person about everything that I'm doing? Most people don't know the importance of actually updating their partners on whatever they are doing.
Joiners, you need to understand that if you ask for the rains, you must be prepared for the mud. Sometimes we don't know what we go into. So if you are not ready to be accountable to someone,
Yes.
don't go into marriage, because you are going to now make the other person. That's why all these even issues of gender-based violence are coming in.
Yes.
There's no way you can say, no, me, I don't like communicating. It's okay. The other person should assume. Why did you bring somebody's daughter? Why did you get married to somebody's son so that you can trouble them and torture them mentally? Communication is very, very important. That's why we need mentors in marriage.
Yes.
Before you get into marriage, we need people to sit us down. And then they will communicate to us. And then they tell us exactly what is expected of us. That in itself is going to help. Communication is very, very key. Otherwise, without that, you are creating a time bomb for yourselves in that particular relationship.
Okay, so I think we have some comments. We have some comments. Keep them coming. We're actually going to read them after this short break.
Lono Studios cares about your memories, and what better way to keep your memories than having pictures and videos. As Lono Studios, we cover events such as weddings, kitchen parties, chilanga mulilo, birthday parties, as well as corporate events. If you are looking for quality pictures and videos for such events, look no further than Lono Studios. Visit and like our Facebook page at LonoZM.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, keep the comments coming. Mr. Mwalula, in a long distance relationship or marriage, let me put it this way, are they really healthy? Because in as much as trust issues come in, infidelity come in, you have those trust issues about your spouse and your partner. will it be harsh to compel partners or spouses to medical examinations?
You remember what I said, that what is key and cardinal is commitment. That's why we need to know each other before we try to get into a long life commitment like marriage. Compelling someone for medical examination because they've been living apart, you are creating a problem for yourselves.
Okay.
That's why we need to know each other. You see, that in itself is a recipe for a conflict. Imagine you are here, your husband in Lusaka. Every time your husband says, I'll be visiting, I say, before you come, please, I need a medical report that you are okay, you are safe, you are not contaminated. It doesn't work out like that. Even if you are living together as husband and wife, you are living together, you want to go for an HIV test, for example, it must be by mutual consent. Someone must consent willingly.
Okay.
You will not take them by...
Before you explain further, there are people in relationships who they've found themselves in difficult situations. These long distance relationships, you find that you have that intimacy with your boyfriend or fiancé, then you develop symptoms of certain serious diseases, and then you decide to approach your partner about it, and then they react.
You see, I'll say it in this way, that sometimes the way we approach matters may be itself a recipe for a conflict. Especially matters that border on health. You can't just wake up and say, I think I'm suspecting something. You are, that in itself can be a very source of conflict.
Yes.
But what I would want to say is that, and the key thing is that you must know your partner very well, such that even if you hear rumors about them having done something, you should be able to confirm or dispel the rumors.
Yes.
And that is where the challenge is, because we are not taking so much time to know each other.
True.
We rush into
Marriages.
wanting to settle down, and because we marry for different reasons, because it has become fashionable now for people to get married. Because you want to throw this wonderful banquet, your friends are married, so you are under pressure
to be called Mrs.
You want to call Mrs. Or if for us gents you are tired of cooking for yourself or somebody to be taking care of your home,
yes.
you marry for wrong reasons. There's a popular saying in English that a good beginning makes a very good ending.
True.
And what starts well ends well. So if the foundation is very shaky from the beginning, you will see problems in marriage. There are people that have been married for 60, 70 years. They have been living together. I have seen such couples.
Yes.
They will say, we have been married for 60 years. But how have they managed to live like that?
Up to 60 years.
Are they perfect people on planet Earth? They are not. But it's because of the trust and respect that they have for each other.
Yes.
So when you trust someone, you have respect for them. You love them from the bottom of your heart. You always feel you up. That's why even when they are blessing marriages in church, what do they say? They say, you have become one. So if you have become one, of course, what the leg is doing, the hand should know. What the mouth is doing, the nose should know. That's what it means. So if you are not ready, you are a leg, you don't want to inform what the hand is doing. Don't get into that union of where you become one body.
So what should be the best reason to get married?
Marriage is an institution that was created by God.
Yes.
And for me, it's for companionship. So that you have someone you are going to live with, and mostly for procreation. That you are going to be having children. But it's not always that you have children in marriage, but it's for companionship. You need someone. Cohabiting is different from companionship. Even when you're having a girlfriend that comes for a sleepover during the weekend, it's totally different from having a wife who's always there 24/7, who's going to take care of the children.
Okay.
So you marry for companionship. You marry because you want someone to share
your life with,
and your deepest thoughts in your life. That's why your wife should be your best friend.
Yeah.
Your husband should be your best friend. But such things rarely happens because we are in a dynamic society.
Yes.
We are in a cosmopolitan kind of society where everything is in the fast lane. Everything is in the fast lane.
So, when these marriages start having these problems, where mistrust, infidelity, and then there's that conflict between the couples that are living apart and their children involved, I think they are quite affected. How are they affected?
One of the things is that, I know this is what they teach in marriages, rather, excuse me, that children should not be dragged into the affairs of the mother and the father. For one simple reason. It's like you are washing dirty linen in public. Those are your children, and you need to be their inspiration. But there are times when it becomes inevitable that you cannot hide, where you quarrel in front of the children. Even when you want to shout at each other or yell at each other, tell your children, go and watch TV in the sitting room. Then you now tell your wife, you see, I don't like what you did. The wife also, after that, you shout at each other in behind closed doors. Then you pretend to your children that all is well. Yes.
And on top of that, there are situations, I think I've witnessed a situation where a couple is in Kasama, the husband is in Livingston, the wife is in Kasama, and the husband's infidelity reaches a point where he brings the prostitute into the house, and the children are watching. How are they affected mentally and physically?
They are affected because when you talk about the growth of a human being, it's physical, it's psychological, and the moral aspect. You can be growing physically, but the moral aspect has been neglected. The psychological aspect has been neglected. No morals, no values whatsoever. Because as children are growing, they have this fragile mind. Anything they see their parents doing, they think it's right, it's gospel truth, they can actually as well do it. So that is actually very wrong. Let the children not be dragged into that. But like I said, there's moral decay in society. There are people who do that.
Yes.
But what kind of morals are you trying to inculcate in the children? You are now bringing up monsters who in future will turn against you and said, what can you tell me? This is what you used to do.
Yes.
So the issue of having people to live separately, to me, should not result into infidelity if exactly you know what you are doing in that particular relationship. Because people, they cheat, even when they are living under one roof. So it's personal decision that people make. But even if it's a personal decision, we are not saying it's right. And at the same time, we cannot treat people like animals with a whip to say, please don't do this, don't do that.
Yes.
But we can only encourage each other. Then we need to develop certain values. The children will look up to us. The children would want to have role models in future. But if we become so reckless with our lives, we will not be able to communicate effective things in our children. So whether we are living apart, even in a distance marriage, in a distance relationship, we'll try to, as much as possible, to uphold those values. It's going to help. But it's very difficult, I know. It's quite difficult. That's why even, you remember the president, when he was just his inauguration, he mentioned to say, spouses, support each other. At the same time, the government wants to bring in an arrangement where the couples, they have been separated. Like Today, the Teaching Service Commission has published the successful, names, the candidates of those that had applied for teachers. Some of those are already married. Some are engaged. Some are dating. But that does not mean that if I'm in Kasama, then they post my wife in Livingstone, then that means the termination of a marriage. It should not be like that. But people get married because they want to live together. Now, if you get married and we're not living together, it creates a problem.
Okay, I think let me read some of the comments that we have. We have a comment from Agnes Mwila Mwembeshi. It says, watching from Kasama. Thank you so much, Agnes. Jairus James Mtale, watching you from Ndola. Indeed, it's a good topic. Thank you so much, Jairus. Nathan Siyingwa, watching you from Shuangandu. Congratulations to all new civil servants in town. Okay, interesting topic. Keep watching from Kasama town. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming and keep sharing the video. Okay, being in a long distance marriage, I think a lot of marriages have become, shadow marriages, whereby it's just a name that they're married. There's that, no, that's Mrs. This, that's Mr. This, he's married to this lady, she's married to this man, but there's no that connection. How do such marriages become shadow marriage? To what extent does it become just a name? They are married, but it's a situation where this one is living his own life, she's living her own life, her things is things, despite children being involved.
Sometimes the saying, which goes out of sight, out of mind, may be true to some extent. In the sense that if you have lived apart for a long period of time, even law sometimes allows, and you can even ask for a divorce under statutory marriage, for example.
Okay.
Living apart for maybe a continuous period of about 2 years or 3 years becomes a ground for divorce, because we have seen that it will lead to a marriage to break down irretrievably. So what makes a marriage to break down irretrievably or to become a shadow marriage? It's because there's nothing that the two who are married are bringing to the table to build that particular relationship. Remember what I said earlier on, to say marriage is a project in the making. Every day you bring a brick to it and you are building. But if you are living apart, what are you building?
But what if it's because of work, as you said? Maybe I am in Zambia and my husband is maybe somewhere in America, in another country. And because of circumstances.
Yeah, it's because of circumstances, yes. But it's also goes to how much value attached to that union. There are people that, for example, they are married, but they have not attached so much importance to their marriages. And there are people that we have seen openly declaring to say, my family comes first. So it's the value that you attach to something. If you don't value that what you have, no one else is going to value it. So even if people are living apart, one in another country, the other one is living somewhere else, what is key and what is important is, remember what I said, it's commitment. Actually, there are 3 things that brings people together: passion, intimacy, and commitment. You discover that in the early stages of a marriage, passion is there. Intimacy is there. It's like you really want that warmth from your spouse. You really want it there. But as time goes on, the two fade. Passion and intimacy, they will fade. What remains is commitment. People have, it's a commitment that remains, where it's like you're trying just to see how you can make things work. Because how do you look at people that have been married for 70 years? Do they even have that passion of saying, because when you look at the beauty that attracted,
it's faded.
It has faded. It's no longer there.
I think I came across something on social media which said, when you marry that one person, and the moment you are like, what? This is the person I got married to, and the moment they hate you and you look back from where you came from and you're like, okay, despite all this, I'm going to keep this, and that's love. Not when it's
exactly
not irepia.
Therefore, if you don't therefore, if you don't
our relationships nowadays, it's love ngareko kupya. Umuriro wareko kupona.
There are so many, yes, there are so many things that attract people nowadays because this person looks good, and then you want the approval of everyone to approve of your spouse. You can't just go a rally and say this is the one I'm dating, and then people approve. She's cute,
nice.
he's handsome, he's working hard. It's like, so you are marrying for who? You are marrying for the whole continent, for the community. Is it a community project? It's not a community project. So it's about your conviction. That's why when people made Edo into these relationships, they say family members and friends.
Yes.
That relationship is likely to fail.
Yes.
Because me, I've seen even sisters, and sisters have a challenge. You sisters to brothers, you have got problems. You want to approve of any girlfriend or boyfriend or fiance that your brother brings home.
Yes,
Not that one. Look at the way she's looking. She doesn't even know how to dress. I'll tell them, please, I didn't marry for you. Go and look for your own man, and please take care of them the way I suppose. So the challenge is that let's not marry for wrong reason. This outward appearance sometimes fades, but we should look for something that is inside. That is what is important.
Okay, I think we're going to go on a short break, and after this, we'll be winding up. Okay, keep the comments coming. We'll read them after this short break.
Lono Studios cares about your memories, and what better way to keep your memories than having pictures and videos. As Lono Studios, we cover events such as weddings, kitchen parties, chilanga mulilo, birthday parties, as well as corporate events. If you are looking for quality pictures and videos for such events, look no further than Lono Studios. Visit and like our Facebook page at LonoZM.
Welcome back. As we're winding up, it's even getting more interesting. More questions are coming in my head now. Okay, we talked about love. This generation, Mr. Mwalula, to be honest with you, most relationships have not ended because they don't love each other. It's because they face that difficult, which they think vareko kumfa chimtunta.
No, we have different types of love. There's what we call romance, romantic love. That is just like which we commonly say love at first sight. You see this person because that person looks appealing in your eyes. You love them just at the spur of the moment. Then sometimes people fall in love with, this is a person who is closer to you every time, and they are always comforting you, joyness. So you feel they are warmth. Very compassionate, and you develop compassionate love. Then there's also what we call Soj, where it's just familiarity that has brought together. Yes. Imagine the two teachers. We are talking about teachers because they post them to a school in a rural place.
Yes.
And the only one who is there is a head teacher. Then you have posted you there, male and female. You can't look at any other person. The only closer person you look at is that one. So now because you get closer, it's familiarity that brings you together. That's dangerous because there was no conviction from the beginning. But because of availability, you tend to abuse what is closer to you. And you end up abusing each other.
True. And then you get hurt.
In fact, now, as time goes on, now you come to realize that
it was just boredom.
No, I think my intention was not to marry you. Actually, you just tricked me. Actually, I just left my. No, it was because of having sex that brought us together. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married you. You are nowhere even in my picture.
I think that's hurtful. Okay, so going to the last question. These days it's easy for people to just leave the relationship, the marriage, and walk out because there are so many options out there. And I think that's one thing that has caused most of us to lose value of relationships. As you said, you have to know what you want, and it begins with you.
Exactly. We are living magnets.
So the moment you enter into that relationship, things become difficult. The lover stops giving you the bubbles in the stomach, and you're just like, I'm going to leave. That's why most relationships are not actually working in our... because there's so many, people feel there are other options, out there, what is your advice to people who think it's just okay to leave a relationship without actually having the heart to work on it?
You see, even when you are living in a relationship, what lessons are you carrying with you? I was talking to a certain lady. They had a quarrel with the boyfriend. I said, no, this and that. Then I told that person to say, you see, even when you want to end a relationship, you don't have to end it haphazardly like that.
Yes.
What has ended is an intimate relationship. But that does not mean you become enemies.
Yes.
We are living in a small world. So I still want to repeat what I said when we had, I think, in that program. It should have been 3 or 4 months ago.
Yes.
I said, it's not very difficult to find a life partner.
Yes.
What the problem is, we don't know ourselves. We don't know who we are.
Who we are, yes.
One of the things that you must understand, Joyness, is that we are living magnets.
Yes, true.
Who we marry is our own vision. So we create that vision in us. Then we start looking for that vision. When you create the kind of person you want to marry, you create to say, this is the way I want that person. You have already created them in the mind. And you have also started working towards that. It will not be very difficult to find that person because you have already created that person. But the challenge comes in where you are looking. It's just like I'm looking for you, Joyness. I don't know your name. I don't know where you stay.
Yes.
I don't know what you do. How am I going to find you? What we are seeing is trial and error. That's why a lot of people, they jump from one relationship to the other. Like a monkey jumping from one tree to another. For one simple reason. They want to try. Others, they have multiple.
Yes.
They have 4. I was listening to a certain video on YouTube where this woman was saying, it's okay to date more than one man as a woman because you want to make a choice.
Try and error. You
are going to get confused.
Yes.
Because human beings are not homogeneous. They are not the same. Even as I am today, there are a lot of things that are not right. I'm not a perfect person.
Yes.
So you find that there's one character or one trait you like in this person. Another trait is in the other person.
Yes.
There's no person that is cast
Perfect.
in stone in terms of perfection to say everything is one person.
Yes.
So you'll be jumping from one man to the other, looking for a perfect man, whom you are not ever going to find. So the issue is, let's try to work on ourselves, create the kind of a person we want to date, we want to marry in ourselves. It is going to help us. Even in distance relationships, it's going to help us because we would have created someone whose vision and our vision is the same. Some people are not so bad. You understand? Not that most of marriages that break, it's because there's someone who is bad. No. It's incompatibility. It's not that someone is bad. Some people that are divorced are very good church people. That's why we even see men of God divorcing.
Yes.
And you see a man of God is bad. No, the man of God is not bad. Even the so-called woman of God who was married to a man of God is not bad.
Yes.
But the issue is there is incompatibility.
Yes.
If I drive a Toyota, then I have a problem with my ball joints. I go to buy joints for a Benz. They are ball joints for a motor vehicle, but are they going to fit?
No.
They will not fit. So you are not going to say, no, this is a wrong spare part. The people that created didn't know what they were doing. No. Ourselves, what we should look for is compatibility. When we are compatible, it becomes very easy for us to bond because it's easier. But now when we are trying to push things and we want to enter into, there's a lady who got married in was it last year? Even the day she was getting married, she called me in the morning around 04. Mr. Mwalula, do you think I'm doing the correct thing? I said, what do you mean? I don't love this man.
Then why are you getting married to that man?
It's because I accepted at a time when I didn't know what I was doing. And this, we have gone far, and I feel I can't tell my parents I'm going to disappoint them.
Yes.
And I saw when the pictures came out, that lady never smiled in all of the pictures. So I don't know how they are living today.
Okay.
So the problem comes in is because we accept at the wrong time. I was talking to one female friend who said, I didn't love that man. I think in Salafi and Dwele.
Okay, so what is your advice to people that are in long distance relationship and they think they are just living on the strings?
Marriage is an institution that was created by God. It's not man's creation, it's God's creation.
Yes.
And I'll tell you something. The capacity of a product is not determined by the user, but by the manufacturer.
Yes.
God is the one who created the institution of marriage. He's the one who created us. So if we have issues, let's go back to the original purpose.
Yes.
Why God created the institution of marriage. We may ask counselors, we may ask coaches, we may ask Banachimbusa, we may ask different kinds of people. They are just human. They may not give us the outright solution to the challenge that we may face in this distance relationship. And above all, let's keep steadfast to the word of God.
True.
God will never leave us. He will never forsake us. And there's nothing, practically nothing, that is impossible with God.
Yes.
Even when you are living apart, if you are destined to live as husband and wife, it will be.
True.
Because that's what God wants
Yes.
to happen in life. So I think that's the advice that I can give, that if we are facing challenges in marriage, let's not use our human intellect. We can use our to certain, but certainly God is the one who instituted the institute of marriage and can give us actually the best answers and solutions to all the challenges that we might be facing. Thank you.
Okay, I think a lot has been said, and truly, with God, everything is possible. And let's not forget to put God in the foundation of our relationships and marriage. I think if you involve God from the word go, that relationship is likely to work out. Then that one, it just abruptly starts. And let's not give up on long distance relationships and marriages, because whether we want it or not, they work. It's just the mentality. And Ate had already said, if you know what you want, what you're looking for, and you find it, you're going to know to say, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is what I want in a woman. This is what I want in a man. And let's not give up. But we just face too much more difficulties, and we're there, we give up. Palasti kwisa sangati ama ex yako ana 100.
Exactly.
But like we've said, how many exes you have, wafula no kulanda. Okay, so we're going to read some of the comments that we have. We have a comment from Jairus Chims Mutale. It says, Mr. Mwalula, please help me on a distance relationship course. My partner, she's tripping too much. I think this one should inbox Mr. Mwalula directly for a proper course of a long distance relationship. Okay, thank you so much to everyone that participated this evening, and to everyone who's been recruited. Teachers, congratulations, and until next time, for now, it's bye-bye and good night.
Thank you.
Lono Studios cares about your memories, and what better way to keep your memories than having pictures and videos. As Lono Studios, we cover events such as weddings, kitchen parties, chilanga mulilo, birthday parties, as well as corporate events. If you are looking for quality pictures and videos for such events, look no further than Lono Studios. Visit and like our Facebook page at